Greetings, geeks. This is episode 730 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda, and I am joined today, of course, by Chris DeBona.
Hi.
And Rob Roseboom.
Hello.
Gentlemen, we've completed the part of the morning ritual where we talk about our pets' illnesses today. Now let's talk about the things that are happening on the intertubes. The oldest story that we had was an interesting one that I just thought would be worth a chat about. The unpaid social media moderators. They are estimated on Reddit to perform efforts worth $3.4 million. And I got to tell you, that seems low.
It really does. I feel that this is one of those things where I don't think they understand how people get paid.
Well, I guess the other problem to it too, and this is the fundamental difference between Reddit moderation and Slashdot moderation is that the Reddit moderators adopt a subreddit and then they have 24/7 power within that area. And now, if it was me and I had that power, I would be doing that for 10, 20 hours a day because I am an obsessive personality. But on Slashdot, it was besides the employees who were definitely moderating comments 20 hours a day, the users were only moderating, for, a day every couple of weeks. But I just really wonder, like, I don't know, that just seems really wrong to me.
Yes.
I mean, maybe.
Mr. Roseboom, how many Rosebooms equal a Reddit moderation core is my question.
See, that's what I was wondering. So they were days where I, especially if there was a big troll attack, I might be 10% of all moderation on Slashdot.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a whole lot until you actually look at the number that is and realize it's just me. So hard to say. And I also assume a lot of these moderators, are just doing it for the prestige of being a moderator. And it seems like a lot of people, when they hire moderators now, outsource it and just have some sort of organization that promises to keep track of your, online profiles and such in order. And I'm not sure well, I am pretty sure how good they are at doing those things.
Questionable.
And you do get what you pay for, but I'm just not sure it's a priority for a lot of folks now.
Well, Facebook famously has like armies of moderators, and they're paying them around the world. And
usually in less expensive areas.
Right, in less expensive parts of the world.
Sent to a contractor in the dead of night.
Right.
And paying them crap. And we have recently, put up a story about that, about how many of them wanted to commit suicide.
Yeah.
And reading it, a lot of it hit home.
Oh, for sure.
To be perfectly honest.
For sure.
Mostly about the horrible things that you see.
Yeah.
Because that is unavoidable. I've seen things that I would have never seen had I not moderated Slash.com.
Yeah.
I've seen absolutely the worst of everything you can imagine.
Yeah. The PTSD from that never really goes away. Rob, you have an order of magnitude more of it than I do, since you moderated far more than I did. But to this day, there are many times where I see things on the internet and it makes me crumple inside because like it connects me to seeing the horrible things that we saw. I guess on Reddit, the other thing is that the power of a moderator on Reddit is usually limited to a particular subreddit, which in theory they have a particular interest or expertise. And I would assume that when you're outsourcing it to somewhere where you can pay them, pennies on the dollar for the work, they don't have the particular expertise. So they're mostly just looking for reasons to get rid of the absolute worst. Whereas the moderators on a subreddit who are invested in it have probably like do a better job. But then I guess they probably also are prone to getting their feelings hurt and being tyrants too. But
yeah.
boy, it's amazing how well our system worked.
It is hard to be dispassionate and still interested, which is where you kind of have to be
Yeah.
with that stuff.
For me, the problem always was that a substantial percentage of the comments that needed to be moderated down would distill down to personal attacks on me
Oh, sure.
personally. Rob, did you ever have, like, did you take any of that personally, or were you able to slough it off?
Oh no. The only thing I took personally was when the dude spoofed the headers on an email and sent them into corporate trying to say that I said racist stuff about him and try to get me fired. That was the only thing that really I took personally, because how do I not take that personally? Someone went to great lengths to frame me,
Right.
right, and get me fired.
The ones that always got me,
no reason.
Yeah, the ones that always got me were when they would objectively lie about something that I did, and then they would use a sock puppet account to like echo the lie. And it's like, I
Yeah.
can't compete with that. I can moderate you down, but that just fuels your fire.
I just always looked at that as like, standard shitty operating procedure of troll number
Yeah.
14. You know what I mean? There's a
Yeah.
lot of things like that I just came to expect. It was the actual, like, out of your way to personally try to hurt my livelihood that bothered me. I mean, we had, as you know, plenty of people threaten us with physical harm.
Constantly.
And because I was brash and stupid, I would just send everyone who did our address so that they could come and fight me like they said they wanted to.
Strangely enough, only one person ever showed up, right?
Yeah, only one person ever showed up, and they wanted to kidnap you, and I got rid of them. So.
Yes, that's why
I'm here
that's
to
why you
kidnap
sat at the
Mr.
front
Malda?
desk.
So, well, we're joking about it, but and honestly, there's probably about a 90% chance that that's what was going to happen.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Honestly.
Here's my argument against it. He had a little rust bucket car, right? Like, I don't know that he would have been able to fit a full-grown adult man resisting him in his little car.
Well, in his defense, the older cars don't have that little pull tab in the trunk, so he was probably counting on that,
All I know is he showed up with the biggest duffel bag I'd ever seen that was completely empty, and
Did
folders.
you put a Rob Malda in this?
And folders about how he was going to reverse engineers Rob Malda's life. He just needed a couple hours alone with him.
Yep, in a trunk.
So did you have a policeman come by?
No. I talked to him for a little while. Didn't allow him to go see Rob. It was kind of funny because everyone could hear what was happening.
Yeah, I was sitting in the back listening to the whole exchange.
Because I was I was at the front of the office and intercepting everybody. And he offered me his car for the chance to deliver Rob Malda to him. And what is funny is that very morning, my car had died. So Cowboy Neil had driven me to work. So I could hear snickers when the guy's like, I'll give you my car. And I'm like, oh, this is the perfect time to offer me a car for Rob Malda.
Trade me up.
Yeah, I got to say no.
Silver platter. All right, well, let's see. We have a frozen baby woolly mammoth was discovered in Canada. They 30 or 40,000 years old. They said it's the oldest baby that they found.
The oldest baby. Wait, a baby shame.
In this continent, I guess. But Rob, I picked this one for you because this seems like the sorts of things that you're interested in.
The last group of woolly mammoths were in sort of Kamchatka, and then there was a little island where they got even more reduced in size, and they lived to, they think, about 8,000, 9,000 years ago. So this very well might be the latest one that they found in Canada.
So skinny.
I think it might be dead.
Yeah, I don't think it's been eating very well for the past 10,000 years.
30,000 year crash diet.
Lost in the storm. That's very sad.
She misses her mama.
Oh, you're killing me with this stuff, man.
Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. It's I feel like discoveries of woolly mammoths and mentions of Voyager in the media are just guaranteed that I'm going to put them on Taco Zone.
Right. And
Yeah.
I didn't see any mention of them trying to extract DNA to make a woolly mammoth, because that always goes hand in hand with these
Which
Yeah.
seems a
stories.
shame, you know.
It's like somebody saw Jurassic Park and has to include that comment with every article. It's like standard issue.
Ugh. It's a little tiresome.
Like explaining time travel with like the piece of paper and the pencil that you fold over and poke the pencil through. Blade Runner is 40th anniversary this week.
Yeah, you have 2 stories about it.
I posted 2 of them because it is making the rounds across the I don't know, the literati media. Because there's a New Yorker article. I think the other one might have been a Vanity Fair article, but they're just big old retrospective pieces on the Blade Runner.
Yeah.
At this
Less
point,
pictures on the New Yorker one.
well, you know, they're fancy. They like to read their words and use their imagination.
Mm-hmm. All right, well,
I don't think either
going
of these
back to
articles
Esquire.
said anything in particular that we would not know. I just think that it's interesting that it's
It
hitting 40.
is, you know, it was such a good movie. I still haven't seen the 2049 or whatever.
I've been meaning to rewatch it. We should try to do that with like a Plex watch party or something.
Yeah, we should do it and make it a movie night. You know, we haven't done this
I 2049 is a tough movie. It misses on a lot of marks, but it works on a lot of marks too. It's the one thing that kind of I'm seeing this more and more and more is I feel like with the color grading of movies, they're pushing it farther and farther, and my eyes aren't particularly good. And a lot of these movies, they'll color grade it so dim or so blue that like I can't parse the details. I was actually reading a thing recently that's actually a big problem on why Kenobi looks weird. Is because it's some combination of the RGB sensors in the cameras and the RGB projection on the LED screens that they're using in their volumes. So you basically, because you're not really truly getting all of the wavelengths of light that you are when you're photographing something, you're only getting the specific bands that are being caught by the filter, by the camera sensors and by the LCD projection. And the combination of that means that there's actually not as much data. It's not as much color data. So when you color grade these things a little bit too far, particularly into the pure colors that the sensor is capturing, that you lose a lot of the saturation, or that you lose a lot of the I don't know, the depth.
I don't know. I mean, at the same time, there's been plenty of modern films which are very moodily lighted that don't have that problem.
Sure.
So I'm not sure that this is anything but laziness on Disney's part.
Well, but the reason I mentioned that is that there's a number of scenes in the Blade Runner, and this is one of the first movies that I noticed it, where the saturation of the colors is so much in different parts, and then some scenes are so dim. Solo is another movie that has that problem for me. It's like but Denis Villeneuve, Dune has a lot of the same issues. Like there's a lot of really dark scenes, a lot of high contrast scenes, and my eyes. Like I respect it artistically, but my eyes can't see it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I also think, you know, okay, I'm older now. I don't see as well as I used to, clearly. Is it these young kids with their huge dynamic range in their eyes that are better off than I am? You know?
Well, I was saying earlier that I proved recently that my left ear has lost more high frequency than my right ear because I was trying to fix something in my speakers, and I can hear a high pitched bit of feedback or something out of one ear, not the other. Oh crap! I'm getting old. Can't see, losing all the frequencies.
That happens.
It does. It does. So the Boys spinoff. That we had not talked about, because we hadn't talked about it, Chris, because they haven't mentioned it in years, really. Because this was announced like way back when they were working on season 1. The Boys spinoff. It's an animated series set in college, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not animated. It's live action.
Oh, I thought it was supposed to be animated. Isn't like Schwarzenegger's kid in it or something?
Yeah, Schwarzenegger's kid is in it. So along with, you know, Quaid's kid. You know.
Really?
Yeah. So they have a statue of Translucent. Ha ha ha.
That's funny.
Very
That's
silly.
great.
Save a lot of money on that.
But
God, I love the people who do all this
God,
stuff.
Kripke's
They're so
awesome.
good.
He's just awesome, you know, and he uses the same people from Timeless and from
Hmm.
Supernatural. I mean, you know, I think he's
Yeah.
one of those groups of creators.
I just think that
Like, this is
whoever's
great.
sitting in that writer's room deserves a firm handshake, a clap on the back, and a beer.
Well, you saw the Soldier Boy outtakes for his Just Say No ad.
No, I don't think I did. I saw the video that we shared a while ago.
I'll find it here.
Yeah, those are people who know what they're doing. But
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I find it's just so rare yet. I mean, I guess you're seeing more and more of it, but it's just pretty rare yet to have something like this where all the different moving parts seem to be a fan of the show and really understand what makes it good and
Yeah.
interesting. It's great.
Faux show. Let's see. Who shared the story about the Sleepless Hotel?
Oh, I did.
It's awesome.
Kind of a, yeah, it's more of an art piece, really. But I like the idea of, you know, here, stay in this shitty place and think about how terrible the world is for a day. And that's what I've given to you. That's my gift to the world.
Yep.
Sleep in
God,
this
it's
bed
really
outside a gas station, open air, and listen to the sounds of trucks and smell the diesel fuel.
It got 1 star.
No
And think,
stun.
and think about how bad things have gotten.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
That is
What a
awesome.
shitty place to live. Yeah, that's
It's
great.
what's funnier is he did a whole bunch of installations like that before.
Tranquil.
Where he put them in the most tranquil places ever, and then this one is all like, nope, this is where you're staying now. The world is shit.
Sleep is not the point, he says.
I mean, look at this. I mean, this is gorgeous, and then you have that.
Yep.
Wow,
That's pretty awesome.
Someone waking you
I
up
like
to
this.
ask
I like
you if
this
they can,
tractor. You know.
if they can bum a smoke.
Mhm.
No.
That's great.
Hey man, you guys got a couple of dollars for the bus?
Where is this? Switzerland?
Germany? I don't know.
They're Swiss artists.
Yeah, it's in Switzerland.
There we go. Well, I think that's clever, and I will never stay there for any reason ever. We got more John McAfee news. He continues to haunt us even from beyond the grave.
He's left the heliopause.
Right. He's chasing down Voyager, and then when he gets that one, he's going to go for Voyager 2.
Yeah, so evidently his corpse is just sitting in Spain.
Before we
in a
switch
cold
over
room
to John
someplace.
McAfee, that's $8.69 a gallon, just for the record.
That's not dollars. That's euros, right?
I know that's that's euros. So 8 euros and 69 sub euros a gallon. So whatever a euro's worth nowadays, 8.69.
It's like 1.8.
So that's $9.15 a gallon.
That's what gas costs when you don't have your government subsidizing it. And they tax it.
They sure do.
So yeah, John McAfee, Rob?
Oh yeah, his corpse is stuck in a morgue in Spain yet. No one's claiming his body. I don't know what the holdup is, but you know,
who wants it? You know. Also, importing his body. I mean, you have to clear it with the FDA. You have to clear it with the USDA. I mean, it's.
I mean,
you know,
say what you will about the man's questionable ideas and lifestyle. He was always a very eager participant in any interview we ever needed for Slashdot.
Yeah.
I have, his last 3 phone numbers in my phone yet. The dude was a wild man. I think we should find the PT Cruiser and drive him around in it. And
like Weekend at Bernie's style?
Like Stalin style?
And then we drive to La Brea and drive the whole thing into one of the tar pits and put him in there for eternity, right? Let 10,000 years from now, someone else to dig all that up and try to figure out what the hell was happening.
Yeah.
Right. I'd like to imagine what stories that they would come up with why this person is inside this ancient vehicle of some type inside the tar pit.
Well, he's King / Dot, buried in his
He's
tomb.
a terrible person, though.
I
Yeah,
mean,
he wasn't a very
he's
good person.
that
awful.
seems to be the consensus. I mean, he
Also,
didn't.
I don't think the tar would actually affect his skin at this point. You know, he'd probably be perfectly preserved. You know,
He didn't human
sell it.
traffic though to get organs that we know of, right?
That's true.
Because
Well, I wouldn't
that's
put
the
it
next
past
story.
him. Yeah, this is a dark story. You know.
Yeah,
I-
I actually I didn't know if we'd even talk about that. I just put it in there as a throwaway joke about how I thought the money I was giving to that prince was so that he could go to London and get his bank accounts open and not to harvest children's organs. So I
Right.
felt bad about it. But yeah, this is a hell of a thing, right?
Good.
Nigerian senator, no less.
So there's
He speaks for the people.
there's actually a documentary, I think you can find it on HBO, that's all about the illegal organ trade in India, with people going there to
Yeah.
sell their kidneys to, you know, get out of debt and have a better life for themselves and stuff. This is not quite that.
No,
This is another shade darker.
this is child trafficking.
Yeah,
This is
organs.
pretty grim. You know?
This is exactly what they
This
say
is-
is happening at the bottom of those pizza places.
Yeah.
You know, this is that story, but for real.
Yeah.
Don't tell QAnon about this one.
Yeah.
Pretty grim.
Sigh.
Ah.
So they've announced that Carol Burnett is going to be a guest star in the final run of Better Call Saul. That's crazy. I can't remember when I've last seen Carol Burnett.
Me either, but as a very young kid, you know, we're talking kindergarten, first grade, I can remember always coming home, my mom having the Carol Burnett show on, and how I thought Tim Conway was the funniest man to ever live on this earth. And I really enjoyed the show when I was a kid. So good for her. I hope they give her a good role, because this is an incredible show too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't picture her going in there and making, you know, Odenkirk and Kim break out laughing like in the Carol
Yeah.
Burnett show. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to really fly with the.
Well, maybe she'll bring in Tim, and he'll just be
Yeah,
he'll
yeah.
be
No,
like
yeah.
he'll play that old man who shuffles everywhere, and he's just so slow making meth.
Oh, what was the Dolph
that-
character?
Dorf.
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 Yeah.
This does
Maybe
seem like
Dorf
the sort
will
of
come
thing.
in. He'll have gotten drunk and run over somebody in his car, but his golf cart, and they'll be crying. They'll be laughing so hard.
I kind of hope that this is the sort of thing where you know, an actor from a more known for a previous generation comes in, does the guest spot, and then gets like nominated for everything because they're awesome. And like
I mean,
they,
she's actually a remarkable actor.
Yeah.
You know,
She
all
is.
the jokes aside,
A real talent.
She's remarkable.
I'm kind of hoping they have her come in as Kim's mom.
That's what I was thinking too.
And
That's
they
probably what they'll do.
And they have some sort of reckoning, because Kim's at this place now where she isn't exactly sure what side she's going to go on. And
Oh, we know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I suspect, but
She's gone to the dark side, Rob.
Oof. Boy, that was a rough. It's coming back really soon though, like July 11th, right?
yeah.
So,
I was reading a thing about how with the shorter seasons, they're splitting them into two halves like this, and it's becoming more common because Stranger Things did it on Netflix, and they're doing it in other places too. They're doing it for production reasons, but also they're doing it for award show consideration because you have to meet certain deadlines in order to get certain nominations, be eligible for nominations. So they're splitting shows apparently so that people will pay more attention for award seasons. But I mean, like Stranger Things is a different case because like I watched all 8 episodes of Stranger Things and nobody talked about it, but we watched The Boys and we talk about that, you know, for like every week because it's dropping. It's dropping live every week, and it's different.
Well, you know, at the same time, I haven't jumped into the Umbrella Academy because, you know, I want to and I'm gonna, but it's the kind of thing where we have so much good TV.
Oh.
I would rather watch The Boys when it comes out then
I
get
was
to that
hoping
later. You know,
I was hoping we get to Umbrella Academy.
was it
today.
good? Did you like it?
So I keep waiting for the season to show up where it starts to suck because they're running out of good ideas. And, there's only so much you can do, at least for me, in time jumping and world jumping, right?
Yeah.
Having said that, I love this season again.
Is it
Yeah.
good?
I think
I was worried you were going to say it's terrible.
no, I love the season. I think the season is great.
I'm only 3 or 4 episodes in.
Wait.
Even the way they handle Ellen's transition to Elliot Page, like
That was really well done.
Yeah, they address it, but they don't hammer you over the head with it. It happens just like that would probably happen with people who love you, right?
Yeah.
It's
And then
probably
they
one of the
time
most one of the most realistic sort of coming out scenes I've seen in anything, to be perfectly honest with you. Everyone just like, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like episode 2 and episode 3. There's just like a couple of it's not there's like one scene where it's like the major thing, but it doesn't feel to me like it's going to be the main season long B plot or anything. And that's what I was afraid of.
Yeah, it's just addressed because obviously it has to be addressed, and then they moved on.
Yeah.
Right. They got to what is important in the show.
Yeah.
Not whether she wants to or he wants to be called Ellen or Elliot, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and it has all the same crazy freaking stuff you'd expect in Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
Starting from the very first episode, you're like, what is this? Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, this season is all of them rivaling with the Sparrow Academy, the alternate timeline, timeline version, because they killed their own parents or whatever. They changed their own history, so they have a whole explanation of the grandfather paradox. The worst thing you can do in time travel is to kill your grandfather or whatever. It's awesome. That show is really well done. It makes me wonder if Doom Patrol can get back on the rails if they get another season, because those two came out at the same time and both kind of tickled the same like weird dysfunctional superhero family thing for me.
Yeah. I think
back on the rails.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh snap! I think Doom Patrol went a little too far off. I think they went a little bit too Legion.
Yeah.
Towards the end, because there are some absolutely remarkable parts of Legion, but it gets so bonkers.
Yeah.
That at some points you're like, ugh, you know.
And Doom
Unreliable narrator. I don't know what I'm watching anymore.
Doom Patrol got hosed by COVID too, because they had to like scramble and redo like the last couple of episodes of season 2, and then season 3 is all like trying to pick up the pieces of plot threads from season 2. It's just narratively all out of whack.
Yeah.
Chris has already got up the Amtrak story. 11 years and $450 million to save Acceleritors 100 seconds. And in that same time frame, France built a 210 mile per hour high-speed rail.
Yeah, this one is just like if you really want to, you would have to do more research into these actual cases. But this is a pretty good overview of just why we can't have high-speed rail in this country.
Yeah.
Just because of the way it's set up, all the grifting, all the fat that gets left on stuff, all the backroom deals, all that crap. And like this one, the thing that actually hurts this is they spent another, I can't remember how many millions of dollars upgrading like a change station in between these routes.
Yeah.
And made it so that you have to go to different levels. So you lose almost all the time you saved taking this high-speed rail just to get to the next area where you need to go to get on the train that you need to get to your final destination. Pretty much wiping out any good the faster train did you.
Yep.
It's just from the very top to the very bottom, everything about it is screwed up and could be done better.
And there's so much graft. There's so much, rent seeking. It's just like,
And that's why, I mean, that's the sad truth about what happens in like China. If you've got a dictator that can just steamroll and say this is what happens, you can cut through a lot of that crap. We have 1,000 people with their hands out.
1,000 dictators now.
1,000 people with their hands out up and down the chain. Each one, probably many of them have legit things. You know, you got environmental concerns. You got safety and security concerns. All of this stuff has probably got elements of legitimacy, but then you can't build. You can't move forward. It's sad. That said, I used to love riding the Excello when I lived on the East Coast.
I mean, it was the only way. You're not going to fly like an idiot. You know?
No, I took that back and forth to New York regularly. It was great.
Aren't you glad you saved that 100 seconds?
No, that was before my time, but it didn't matter because I didn't have to wait through a security line and sit in the airport holding tank for an hour waiting for my flight on each end.
Although I will say the old Penn Station, I haven't been to the new one, the new hall or whatever, but the old Penn Station was pretty grim. You know, it was.
Yay. Okay, the last one we have on the list is the mystery rocket. We talked about this.
Not a mystery. It's Chinese.
Well, but nobody's taking credit for it. How about that? Nobody's taking credit for this rocket that crashed into the moon and weirdly enough left a double crater. You want to show us the picture?
Yeah, sorry. I thought I do that sometimes.
There you go. So there it is, a baffling double crater.
It's not that baffling. No. It hit. I mean, in the article it says it hit and it had probably a heavy weight on both sides of the craft, and that's what caused it to tumble when it hit. It's like, so I guess it's not baffling. And people are like, oh yeah, it's a Chinese orbiter that impacted. Don't know why, but so it's not mysterious and it's not baffling. And
but nobody's taking credit for who
not
did
a mystery. But it's not a mystery.
Okay.
Yeah.
That actually reminds me.
In fact, you know what this is? This is it's a horse. You know, you've got a horse-shaped crater. It's someone who's really into horses.
Okay. Yeah. That reminds me. Last night I watched a movie called Apollo 10.5.
Apollo 10.5.
It is. It's so. It's. Do you remember Scanner Darkly with Keanu Reeves, the weird animated thing? It's Richard Linklater did that, and he did this. It's the same animation style, but it's a kid in the days leading up to the Apollo 11 landing, and it's really just like a slice of life for like a middle school aged kid in 1969, and it's just him talking about his TV shows and the punishments that he gets doled out at school and what it's like growing up in Houston, and like the Astrodome is being built and everything's new and exciting, and also kids are shooting bottle rockets at each other and deflecting them with the lids of trash cans, like horribly unsafe things that we could never do anymore because enough kids got hurt. It's a charming movie, and it's on Netflix and it's free, so
okay,
free if you have Netflix. So I give that a recommendation, but it's almost, I'm not going to say it's a documentary, but it's like it's really trying to make you see realistically what it was to be a kid in 1969. And I tell you, being a kid in 1969 feels a lot closer to being a kid in the 80s than being a kid in the 2020s. It's like my kids live a world different than I grew up in, and this feels much closer to the era I grew up in.
Interesting.
But worth a watch. That's the last thing on the list. Do we have anything else we want to say before we sign off? That
just
void.
say no kids.
Oh yeah. We can throw the sound on and see if we get.
All right, here we go.
Dan Edgar.
Get him on the phone. I'm not saying this shit. Finally.
Oh, Soldier Boy.
Is this hot? Iced. It's fucking unprofessional.
Man, this stuff's great. All right, let's say goodbye to the internet.
Go to the.
Goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
See ya.
Goodbye, Chris DeBona.
Taking drugs is uncool. I'm the most uncool motherfucker on the planet.
And goodbye, Soldier Boy.
Bye.
I was Rob Commander Taco Maldo. That was Geeks in Space, episode 730. We'll see you Friday. Bye.